Welcome to the Shootin The Que podcast presented by Heath Riles Barbecue with tips, tricks, and an inside look at some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back to another episode of Shootin The Que. Today I'm joined with my lovely wife, Candace. How are you doing today, honey?
I'm good. It is cold today here.
It has turned chilly after a very hot weekend.
I know. I was about to say we just returned from 90-plus degree weather, and now
sweating.
It's 35 is what my truck said on the way here this morning.
Yes, pretty wild. So we just had I wanted to call it one of the best trips ever, but we did have a little mishap at the end of it. But we just went to one of the best events, in my opinion, that we've ever been to. And I don't know if you feel the same way as I do, but we've been to a lot of barbecue events over the years, with me doing this over 20 years now. And that event kind of blew my mind at the Open Fire Meetup in Texas that Al Fragoni puts on.
No, I agree. It was a great event, and it was very different than most other events because I think when you get into the barbecue events, it's more competition-based. And this was a competition as well, but it was also very open to the public. Like when you started walking around on Saturday, you couldn't turn a corner without somebody trying to get you to eat food. And I feel like that does not happen. That's a misconception for a lot of the general public at barbecue contests because people who have never been to a barbecue contest think that they can just come and eat. And unfortunately, that's usually not the case.
That's right.
Because of different health violations and all that kind of stuff. But at this contest, that was the case. And it wasn't just like, here's a piece of meat. Like it was very well thought out, wonderful dishes.
I mean, as people were seeing some of the video footage that we got, I mean, hanging live alligators, whole steers, the porchettas, the bacon, someone cooked a moose, and moose shoulder and clods, and there was so many suckling pigs that we seen roasting. And one group, the German team, they had 9 suckling pigs on one big hanging meat cross.
There should be video and pictures of that out there somewhere.
I mean, I'm still just blown away and almost speechless for words at how much effort so many of the teams put in. But once you get involved with live fire, it's not that much. I want to say it is cooking, but it's more about managing the fire than it is anything. And the wind, but it's all open fire.
Well, and we need to take in consideration, we were just complaining about how hot it was. It was over 90 degrees, and these people that managed that fire for a few days in a row, when we got near those fires ourselves to film video, when you were judging that kind of thing, it obviously took the temperature way up, and it was hot. And these people still did that with no problem. I'm going to say no problem. There were a few medical things. I mean, it was hot.
It was very hot.
It was just amazing to see all the different countries. Do you remember how many countries they said were represented?
I think it was
video somewhere.
I think it was a lot. 8 or 9 countries. Is that right?
I feel like it was more than that.
Was it?
But I could be
26
wrong.
Total teams. And I know that in the finals, I was lucky enough to judge finals along with Malcolm Reed and Mitch Benjamin, a.k.a. Meat Mitch. And us 3 had to go to 5 teams. And out of those 5 teams, like I said, there was one team representing every country, which was really, really unique, I felt like. The Germans had the roasting pig, you know what I mean? And they poured a big beer. Couldn't drink it, though, judging. They had those rules. Even though I think Malcolm killed about a half of the thing when everybody had their back to it. He picked it up and chugged it. But those suckling pigs were so good they cooked. Just total incredible. I mean, Uruguay. Let's talk about Uruguay just a minute. You'll see in some of the video footage that we got, I hope it was good.
Maybe odd.
It may be odd. Candace was filming some of it with her phone. They made us a sandwich is what they made finals with, which was a ribeye sandwich, and it had bacon and eggs and mayo and lettuce and tomato, and did it have ham on it as well?
I didn't see the ham, but I know it was topped with a green olive.
And topped with a green olive. And this sandwich was massive. massive. It was sliding apart. It was so messy, but it actually was really tender and really good. It had a great flavor to it. Just an incredible time. And this was on Saturday, of course. And we also judged the Guatemala team that won, and theirs was a pork cheddar with herbs and citrus wrapped up and roasted over an open fire and cut into cubes. And it had a really crispy skin on the outside of it. But what made it so unique is they made a muddle-like mop sauce to go on the outside of it. And it was muddled down pineapple, serrano peppers, and ginger is what she said.
I do remember her saying that.
And you would think that would be so spicy, but it gave it such a fruity, spicy flavor that it kind of washed out with the pork, and it was just so good.
Too probably washed some of that.
It was, well, and it was just an incredible bite, and that's what won the whole thing was that. It was incredible, but it was not far off. Or the group that was not far off from winning it either would have been the Carnival that was made up of Mark Lambert from Sweet Spot of Mine, Boar's Not Out, Alan and Eric, amongst some of their other guys, and then you got Craig Carter from Aces Wild, and none of the Shed were there, but they all kind of formed that Carnival. And I will say the enchilada rib that they done,
it looked good.
It was more than look good. It tastes really good.
I got a lot of video of them mopping the rib before they brought them over to the table, and just all those herbs and stuff looked great.
Well, the herbs, and then he used that mojo sauce that we tasted that somebody else had made earlier. You remember me the day before on Friday, the guy that brought the mojo sauce over and let us taste in a squirt bottle. They used that on there.
Okay.
And he had cilantro and was it onion, I guess?
I didn't get to eat these dishes.
Sprinkled on top of the rib and cojito cheese. No, it's cojito cheese.
He put the cheese on before he served it. I saw that.
I mean, that rib was absolutely incredible. It had so much flavor.
And a whole different concept, an enchilada rib.
Yes. I've cooked a lot of flavors of ribs, and I'm here to tell you the rib was spectacular in flavor. That whole twirl of it, I don't know if I could sit down and eat a whole rack of them, but it had such a Mexican twist on it, but I could still taste the pork. But it was just such a good rib. It really was. It was a really, really good rib, cooked really proper. And, they were a fraction off of winning the whole thing themselves, just a fraction.
And then you also had Canada and Germany.
Canada, which was Mel led that team with Dark Side of the Grill. Mm-hmm. You had Dave, the comedian. Meet Dave happening. Who else was over there? It was a slew of people.
Elliot was there.
Elliot was over there.
I don't know. There were lots of familiar faces in that booth.
But they cooked moose poutine. And so they done hand-cut fries with Wagyu beef tallow fried in. Mm-hmm. They brought in cheese curds from Canada. He said he smuggled 50 pounds down from Canada. And then they had killed this moose. And it was the moose had been eating a really good area is the way they explain it, because a lot of times they eat brush and things like that, and they're just not as good and really gamey. Mm-hmm. Well, this moose was not gamey at all. It was more of a grain-fed a grain-fed moose that had been really just grazing on grain and pasture land and things like that. So it was a really good flavor to it.
And they kind of like braised it, right?
They braised it, smoked it.
It almost looked like a roast that had been braised.
It was smoked first and then braised, broke down, and almost made like a wet, thin gravy for it.
And tell them how they put the gravy on.
And then they made a gravy that was kind of a clumpy poutine style gravy, poutine, however you want to say it.
I don't know how you say it.
And he poured it down a bone marrow canoe, basically. So he took a bone marrow and held it over your fries and just poured that gravy, and it run all over your fries with the bone marrow and the moose and the cheese curds.
Do you remember the topping? The very end?
Pickled onions.
No.
Oh, the
ketchup chips.
Oh yeah, the ketchup chips on top of it. That's right. Well, the pickled onions were to the side. I didn't even get to eat it,
and I remember.
It was good.
It looked great.
It was very filling, very rustic, really, really good. Just a superb
They did
dish.
have pickled onions there for you, though.
Had
as
pickled
well.
onions, and I liked it better with the pickled onion bite for the acidity added in it than I did without it. I thought I really liked it before, but I'm glad I tried it with the pickled onion because I give it a higher score with the pickled onion by far.
And so what about, I remember what the plate looked like for Germany, but I don't remember specifically what it was.
They cooked a suckling pig. Like I said, we had 9 of them on a cross. And they give us some roasted vegetables. They done charred onions in a fire and then peeled them and done like this citrus pop on them. And they had like this ground down powder. They give us some of the tenderloin out of the hog. They give us a rib bone out of the hog.
That's right.
And they also give us some pork belly out of the hog.
I do remember them talking about that.
And
now that you say it.
the only thing that I could mark them down on, the pork belly was still just not rendered all the way. It was really chewy. But the tenderloin, incredible taste. The vegetables, they also done a roasted cabbage slaw. If you remember that on the plate that I said was really, really good with like a citrus something on the outside of it, but it had a char to it because they chunked the cabbage in the fire and kind of done it in the coals and then pulled the outside layers off and chopped it up. But it was just a really unique slaw with it. And it had like a little sauce on it. Kind of hard to describe, but it went very well with the pork. But it was almost like a fine dining plate that they served us.
It was. I think they had a chef of some sort.
Yes.
I mean, all these people obviously were chefs in their own way.
Or great backyard cooks.
Yeah, or however you should properly label them. But obviously there were tons of great cooks there. And there were tons of stuff that we didn't even get to try, I know, but that was all of your finals judging. But even the dishes before, just walking around before you did, I don't know if you remember.
What about the focaccia bread? Is that what you were going to say?
So that was a sandwich. Yes, it had the focaccia bread, and then it had beef. But do you remember that? So it had a type of beef. Was it tenderloin? I don't remember what cut of meat it was. It was great. It was cooked perfect. But they had topped it with a sausage that they had made themselves that had cheer wine in it. And you could, once he said, I made these sausages and they had cheer wine, I was like, that's what that taste is. Because I've had cheer wine a long time ago, but it was just very different.
It was.
But it was delicious. And it had pickled onions on it, too. It had the beef and then the sausage and some pickled onions on a fresh focaccia bread. Mm-hmm. But then we also had another dish. I had it and I made you try it. It had corn on it, but I made you try it had alligator on top, remember?
Oh, yes.
It was
really
like
good.
a little, it wasn't a cake, but it was like it wasn't a tortilla, but it was like a corn something, patty, whatever, that it was made on. And then it had roasted corn, and then it was topped with alligator and some type of sauce. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Do you remember the taco that we got from the SMP team?
Yes.
With the chopped up sirloin, or not sirloin, the chopped up.
I think I just took one bite of yours, but yes, it was.
It was really, really.
Everything
I think it
I had
was
was wonderful, and I'm hard to impress when it comes to meat. Anyways, I know I'm picky, but the only downfall to me was I would have loved to try so much more. And like I said, every time you turn around, people are offering, please try this, try this, try this.
No.
When I get that hot, I can't eat hot meat.
I know. We went and cooled off and got some beers and drank some new beers. By the way, too.
Texas local beers.
Yeah, Texas local beers.
Shiner
really, really
was
good.
a huge sponsor at this event, so they had several kinds of Shiner beers, which I love Shiner Bock. And they even had the what's the holiday one that you like?
Shiner Cheer.
Shiner Cheer
Really
in
good.
a can, which we don't typically get around here. Usually it's in a bottle. So we got some Shiner Cheer in a can for the first time. But they also had a beer called Texas Special.
Yep. Really good.
And it was just a good drinking beer.
Solid beer. I mean, I'd buy a 12-pack tomorrow. Probably today. I'm in that kind of mood. But other than the finals, it was really good. And I guess we should have backed up a little bit and started because on Friday, we actually got asked, I did, to be on a panel with Cosmo, Malcolm Reed, and Jess Prowse. And it was a panel, what was the name of the exact panel, I guess?
I don't have it on the sheet, but I do have it.
I know you have it where you can look it up.
In my phone.
But we discussed business and pretty much how we kind of flipped into what we're doing today. Kind of give an insider scoop to some of the other influencers and ambassadors that was there. It was like a private event, basically. But it was a really good talk. Hearing how everybody in the industry has some of the same hiccups. And
it was called From Pit to Profit, Building a $1 Million Barbecue Brand.
That's right. From pit to profit, building a $1 million barbecue brand. And I don't know about the $1 million in there, but it was a really, really good talk. Really listening to how everyone had something a little bit different of a story of how they got into barbecue full time, or how they were inspired, or how their drive is, or what keeps them going. Every one of us have a little bit different of a unique roadway that we took, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. So they had a lot of questions prepared for you guys already that they just asked for everybody to kind of hear the answers to. And then at the end, they took questions from the audience, basically, and you all got to answer those. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it turned out really good. It probably could have went a little longer than it did, truthfully.
Yeah, it was an hour long. But yeah, it probably could have gone even longer. But I think there was another one after you guys.
It was. And before that, it was a panel with Ernest Cervantes, and I don't remember who was on the panel with him. John from Interstellar Barbecue. And they were talking about the business side of barbecue restaurants and things, and that was a really, really good discussion. You know, Ernest just won the Texas #1 spot on the Texas top 50 barbecue restaurants, and you know, I've tried to go before, and it's in Seguin, Texas, and the line out the door and sold out the time that I've been there. And he's like, "Look, call me next time." You know, and I've got to get back out there and go early in the morning times and get out there, because I'd like to do some filming with Ernest in the back and see some of his process. But pictures alone that I've seen, and you know, everything people's uploaded about it, he definitely deserves to be #1 there. And you know, it's kind of shocking he didn't get a Michelin star this year, a rating, the way his food's been the last several years. But that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
How that is.
But I mean, back to the event, I think it was only open to the public on Saturday, but the turnout, I don't know the total number, but I mean, I know you made the comment we went to cool off. Well, where you cooled off, you could kind of see the line of people waiting to get in, and it was just
the gate opened at 10 a.m.
all day,
and at 9:30.
Oh, the line was
probably a half mile long.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Over a half mile long of people standing in line and cars.
And there were people that came. I mean, there were local people and people that came from Houston and different parts of Texas. People came as far as from Indiana and lots of other places. I mean, obviously other countries as well to participate, but just the general public, people even came from far away to come.
And we bumped into so many people in airports, on planes,
yes,
on the roadways and different places that we all knew, because all the barbecue people were coming into one area, which was just really unique and really cool. And for myself, I know that we will be going back next year 100%. That is an event that will be on my list every year. It was just, I mean, incredible. And talking about events of that, you know, you've got Al Fragoni and his team and Mike from Blazing Star that helps with the judging side and all them. They've been working tirelessly behind the scenes. And they finally announced this weekend that they're going to be doing demos and more at Memphis in May this year. Yes. And they're bringing a live fire kind of contest to Memphis in May to make it more of a true international festival over live fire. And they're going to start off with 15 teams next year in that division. That's going to be on a Thursday.
Open fire.
And it's all open fire.
But yes, it will be a separate contest, but within Memphis in May. And I believe it is 15 teams, but you will have to qualify to participate, was my understanding.
Except for the 5 teams that made finals.
They're guaranteed.
They're guaranteed an automatic invite.
They qualified that way.
Yes.
I mean, by making finals, they qualified.
100%.
So, and I think they said that would specifically be held on Thursday of Memphis in May, so it won't really
mess with any of the
mess
other
with
categories.
the barbecue part, because before I heard that part, I was like, well, you got Lambert and you got Boars Night Out over here, which, whatever events they choose to do.
They do hog and shoulder, I'm sure. But that's on Friday and the Saturday, so they need to be finished cooking.
Right. So they can still compete on the Thursday part and then move on and compete in the barbecue part of Memphis in May. So I thought that's pretty cool that they can still
For sure.
do that. And then I believe the top 5 teams all got golden tickets as well to the World Food Championship.
Yes.
But something else that we haven't mentioned or talked about, they did have a kids event within this event. I did get a little bit of footage from that. You were actually supposed to judge the kids event as well, but as we were over there watching the kids prepare, we noticed that some of the kids had corn dishes with whole kernel corn, and as everybody knows, you've talked about, you have diverticulitis, you cannot eat corn.
Can't.
So you felt like you could not fairly judge those kids, and you went ahead and told Mike, hey, I can't eat that corn, like, that's not going to be fair. What do you want me to do? So that's when Meat Mitch ended up taking your spot, and him and Cosmo and somebody else,
Dustin from Weber,
judged the kids contest. But they had some great dishes too. I mean, just crazy stuff that I'm like, how is this child?
Well, you have one of them
cooking
that's been on MasterChef. You have one that when we won Memphis in May, she won the Memphis in May Junior Division.
Well, I'm watching this kid cook with this gigantic bottle of red wine, and I'm like, this is crazy. And one of them said they had like, was it a whiskey or a brandy type?
Cherry sauce.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what? Like, how do they know how to, it's just crazy to me.
Well, they've watched enough shows, and their parents have spent time with them.
They can cook better than me.
And Brandon and Michelle O'Gwen's son, Miles, actually, he got third. Is that right?
I honestly
think it was third that he got.
I'm not gonna.
And the other kids have competed on TV and done all this.
One
and
little girl was making homemade tortillas for her. I mean, made everything homemade right there, out in the middle of the field. I mean, they had to do it all there.
It's really unique,
crazy.
and that's the thing about open fire cooking like that, and the other countries been involved, and more of a family affair. I don't want to say barbecue is not, but that whole thing of the public being involved and being able to interact with the public more and not be so serious on the competition side, but everybody get to try really good food at some point. And like I said, there were beer stands everywhere. There were water stations.
Speaking of the public, they did also have a People's Choice winner, which I'm not going to say I remember who it is, unfortunately, but I think I do have it out there somewhere on video.
I don't remember who won People's Choice. I sat there and watched it. Now that you said that, I can't remember.
We watched it at awards, but so the general public obviously got to play a part in that, is where I'm going with it. So that was cool too. But yeah, I mean, just so much food and getting to see so many people that you don't get to see a lot, and just a whole different environment than other type of barbecue events. But yes, I agree. It was amazing. And there are talks of that expanding in other ways. I hope it does, because it's nothing but good.
I mean, nothing but good. And all this was for money to be raised for the first responders of all the flooding that happened in Texas and things like that. And so all this was for a great charity and a great cause that brought everyone together. And that's what's cool. It's kind of like the events that we do in Cape Girardeau, right? Every year in January. It's all going to good charities, and that's really what it's all about. And for us, I don't know, it seems like I have more fun raising money on the charity side and helping an organization than I do going out and competing now, because I'll still cook Memphis in May every year, but, trying to give back our time in other ways and do things, it's just such, I guess, a better feeling nowadays and all that. I'm not out chasing trophies anymore. That's somebody else's deal. And I don't know, it's just a good time, and you get to eat a lot of good food. And Lord knows I like to eat good food.
Yeah, like I said, there was excellent food. I would have eaten more if it wouldn't have been so hot. And there were good, well, that was on Friday night. I guess it wasn't open to the public, but they had some good drinks going Friday night too. those mango margaritas.
Oh, yeah.
Were rimmed with the chamoy.
Yeah.
Those were delicious.
They were good, really good. Well, talking about a fundraiser, another thing, actually this Thursday coming up, I'm going to be in Cape Girardeau, Missouri at Scout Hall for a Pitmaster Dinner with Smoking Brothers. And you're going to eat ribs, and you're going to eat baked beans, potato salad, bread pudding, slaw, the whole 9 yards. That these are all of our recipes and cooked, and everybody's going to take home a rib kit. And this is all for a fundraiser for the When Pigs Fly event. There's tickets are still being sold right now, as far as I know. We'll have a link to do that, purchase below. But this podcast comes out tomorrow, and then we leave on Wednesday evening or Thursday. I do, to go to Cape Girardeau for this event on Thursday evening at 6 p.m. at Scout Hall. So if you're in the area, local to Cape, want to come and stop by, please come, eat some good food, and have a good cocktail. And let's talk some barbecue up in Cape Girardeau this week.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a great event. I hate not to go, but I have other plans. So.
I know. You're taking off to Disney this week with our daughter, braving it with your sister and her children.
Well, if we get there.
Well, maybe so. Maybe the TSA won't be that bad with,
I don't think it's the TSA that's the issue.
Flight delays right now.
Yeah. We had some delays getting home yesterday, but nothing horrible.
No, only about an hour off. It wasn't that bad. And I guess the only other thing that we can wrap up with here to say is kind of what I started with in the beginning. San Antonio was great except for one thing. When we stopped Saturday night real quick for a bite of dinner, some gracious young men were so nice to break out our window and take our backpacks. And, got some of our filming equipment and one of your wallets and a little bit of cash and I
mean, in hindsight, we should know better than to leave that in a car is what everybody's going to say. But not that I'm making excuses, but I'm going to go back to it was over 90 degrees. I lugged around this Yeti backpack all day full of all of this equipment. It was very heavy. I was very sweaty. I was very hot, too hot to eat. But once I cooled off, it was a 45-minute drive to the ranch. I was ready to eat because I had not eaten. So the whole mindset was like we were tired. We had been at the event all day, had a great time. We just wanted to eat before we got back to our hotel room because we didn't want to go to the hotel and leave again. So we chose to just stop, try to get something quick to eat, and then get to the hotel because we had to get up at like 4 o'clock the next morning to get home. Yeah. And so we made the dumb decision. We both left our Yeti backpacks in there.
In the back seat, in the floorboard.
Yeah. And the floorboard full of all the things that we shouldn't have. And like I said, looking back, that was dumb on our part. But when you've been carrying around this thing all day, it's the last thing you want to have to take it into dinner. But so
it happens.
We had to call the police and get a police report because it was a rental vehicle and we're going to be returning it with a busted window. And so our early night that we had hoped for to get to bed turned into a much longer night. But, it's all said and done now. And
it's all good
whatever.
And go. And it's not much you can really do except for, I'll just go ahead and say on camera, I have your address. So if you watch us on this podcast,
whatever, I'll
ship you a package in the mail. But I do know where my stuff is at sitting in San Antonio right now currently. At a home, my AirPods, my Apple Pencil, whole 9 yards. I killed my iPad, but I hope you enjoy it. It's all I can say. Maybe you'll see it on the podcast and know that, I know your dad anyway.
Well, they have my business cards, so if they want to give me a call, they can.
Well, these days, when
backpack
you
full of them.
Track something to a house, it's easy to look up everything about who owns that house and everything about it. So I just hate that I was not in town here when that happened because I would have took it up myself if I would have been in my truck. No. I would have definitely went and drove it myself and seen what would have happened just to do it. Well, a lot of stuff's not safe these days, but it's also just sometimes you got to do stuff to prove a point. But back to barbecue, it is what it is. We'll see y'all next week with another episode of Shootin The Que when I go get another iPad.
If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels. Leave us a review if you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, keep shooting the Que.